Death can come in many forms, sometimes expected, sometimes sudden. But there are certain deaths so bizarre, so completely unpredictable, that they leave the world in shock. In today's video, we're exploring 3 real-life cases where simple, everyday actions turned unexpectedly fatal. Our first story takes us to India, where a young soccer player's dream moment, a goal that should have been the highlight of his career, ended in unthinkable tragedy. Peter Biaksangzuala had one dream: to play the sport he loved at the highest level. Born and raised in Mizoram, India, soccer wasn't just a game for him. It was a passion that defined his life. Friends and teammates described him as hardworking, humble, and deeply dedicated. He wasn't the flashiest player on the field, but he was known for his energy, discipline, and love for the game. On October 14, 2014, Peter was playing for Bethlehem Vengthlang FC in a high-stakes match in the Mizoram Premier League. It was a crucial moment in the game when he saw an opportunity. Rushing forward, he struck the ball, sending it past the goalkeeper and into the net. It was a beautiful goal, and in that instant, pure adrenaline took over. Overcome with excitement, Peter did what many professional players do. He celebrated. His signature move? A backflip. But this time, something went terribly wrong. As he flipped through the air, his landing was off. Instead of absorbing the impact with his legs, Peter landed directly on his head. The stadium, which had erupted in cheers just moments before, fell silent as he crumpled to the ground, motionless. At first, players and spectators assumed he was simply stunned. But when he didn't get up, panic set in. Medics rushed onto the field, realizing almost immediately that something was very, very wrong. Peter had suffered a severe spinal cord injury. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, where doctors fought to stabilize him, but the damage was irreversible. 5 days later, on October 19th, at just 23 years old, Peter Biaksangzuala succumbed to his injuries. His tragic death sent shockwaves through the soccer world. Teammates, coaches, and fans mourned the loss of a young talent whose career was just beginning. The Mizoram Football Association later announced that his club, Bethlehem Vengthlang FC, would retire his jersey number in his honor, a tribute to a life and a dream cut devastatingly short. Peter's death served as a sobering reminder of how fragile life can be, even in moments of pure joy. What should have been the greatest highlight of his career turned into an unimaginable tragedy. But Peter wasn't the only person to meet an unexpected fate in an otherwise ordinary moment. Our next story takes us to Florida, where a routine activity turned deadly in ways no one could have predicted. Florida is no stranger to strange phenomena. From hurricanes to alligator encounters, the state is known for its fair share of natural dangers. But in February 2013, something happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood that defied belief. It was a tragedy so sudden and so bizarre that even seasoned rescue workers struggled to comprehend it. Jeffrey Bush was a 37-year-old man living in Seffner, Florida, a small town just east of Tampa. He was known as a kind and hardworking man, someone who put family above everything else. He lived with his brother Jeremy, along with Jeremy's wife and children, in a modest single-story house on a peaceful residential street. It was an ordinary home in an ordinary neighborhood until the night of February 28th, when the unimaginable happened. That evening, Jeffrey had gone to bed early. The house was quiet, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But just before 11 p.m., a deafening crash shattered the silence. Jeremy, who was in another room, heard a loud, deep rumbling, like an explosion. The entire house shook violently. He sprinted toward Jeffrey's room, throwing open the door, only to find that his brother, his bed, and nearly the entire bedroom were gone. In their place was a gaping hole in the floor, a massive sinkhole that had opened up beneath the house, swallowing Jeffrey and everything around him into the depths of the earth. Jeremy didn't hesitate. Ignoring the risk, he jumped into the hole, frantically digging through the dirt and debris, calling out for his brother. But there was no response. The ground beneath him continued to shift, and within moments, neighbors and rescue workers arrived, pulling him out before he, too, was lost. First responders quickly realized the terrifying truth. There was nothing they could do. The sinkhole, now estimated to be over 20 feet deep and rapidly expanding, made rescue impossible. It was unstable, its edges crumbling with every passing second. Heavy machinery was brought in, and engineers assessed the situation. But the reality was devastating. There was no safe way to reach Jeffrey. Over the next 24 hours, authorities made multiple attempts to search for him, but the ground continued to collapse, swallowing even more of the home. Eventually, officials made the heartbreaking decision to halt recovery efforts. The sinkhole was too deep, too unstable. Jeffrey's body would never be recovered. In the days that followed, the entire house was demolished, and the ground around it was filled in. The land was deemed unsafe for rebuilding, left as a silent memorial to a life lost in one of the strangest and most horrifying ways imaginable. Sinkholes are a natural occurrence in Florida, formed when underground limestone dissolves, creating empty pockets beneath the surface. But cases like Jeffrey's, where an entire bedroom vanishes in an instant, are exceedingly rare. His death was a tragic reminder that sometimes, without warning, the very ground beneath us can betray us. But as shocking as Jeffrey Bush's fate was, he's not the only person to have died in such an unexpected way. Our next story takes us to a beach in Virginia, where what should have been a routine moment turned into an unthinkable nightmare. A trip to the beach is supposed to be a time of relaxation, a chance to escape the worries of everyday life, soak up the sun, and enjoy the ocean breeze. But in July 2016, what started as a beautiful summer day for one Virginia woman turned into an unthinkable tragedy, one so sudden and improbable that it left an entire community in shock. Lottie Michelle Belk was a 55-year-old woman from Chester, Virginia. She was known as a warm, loving person, a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother who cherished time spent with family. On July 8, 2016, she had every reason to celebrate. It was both her birthday and her wedding anniversary. To mark the occasion, she and her loved ones took a trip to Virginia Beach, eager to enjoy a perfect summer afternoon by the water. For most of the day, everything was exactly as it should be. The waves rolled in gently, families laughed and played in the sand, and the warm ocean breeze drifted through the air. But as the afternoon wore on, the wind started to pick up. It happened in an instant. A powerful gust of wind tore through the beach, sending objects flying. Among them was a large beach umbrella, yanked from the sand with terrifying force. Before anyone could react, the airborne umbrella struck Lottie with devastating impact, its sharp metal pole piercing her chest. Panic erupted. Bystanders rushed to help as screams echoed across the beach. Lifeguards and emergency responders arrived within minutes, but the injury was catastrophic. Despite their efforts, Lottie was pronounced dead shortly after the accident. What should have been a joyful day had turned into an unimaginable nightmare. Her tragic death stunned the community and served as a chilling reminder of how unpredictable nature can be. Beach umbrellas, often seen as harmless, can become dangerous projectiles when caught in strong winds. Weighing between 10 and 20 pounds and with pointed metal ends, these umbrellas can reach high speeds when airborne, turning them into lethal objects. Following Lottie's death, beach safety experts renewed warnings about properly securing umbrellas, urging beachgoers to anchor them deep into the sand and use weighted bases. But for Lottie's family, no safety measures could undo what had happened. What should have been a carefree day of celebration had turned into an unthinkable loss. 3 lives, 3 tragedies, each one a reminder of how fragile life can be. A soccer player celebrating his moment of glory, a man sleeping in the safety of his own bedroom, a woman enjoying a beautiful beach day. None of them could have imagined that their final moments would unfold in such bizarre and devastating ways. Sometimes, it's the things we least expect that pose the greatest danger. Thanks for watching. If you found these stories intriguing, be sure to like and subscribe for more true crime and bizarre real-life tales. Until next time, stay safe out there, and as always, stay curious.